what's going on, everybody? Okay, here, and today, I'm in Japan. So I've been in Japan for a little while, if you've been keeping up with the streams. So I have wanted to share some of the sets I've been playing with a little bit of match analysis, and I'll also be posting the video uncut, like the matches uncut, just basically like, oh, the replay straight up. So the first person that I'm playing here, this is Yu Mei. One of the best Mei players out here in Japan. I'm playing, of course, Baiken. You can tell that this is pre-Evo Japan because I'm not playing the purple color. We can talk about that later. And this is actually probably the only I want to say the only Celestial matches that I have really been playing. We've been really lucky that we've been playing a lot of events out here, which I also want to go through. Some of the main ones. Unfortunately for Evo Japan, I do not really have footage of like me playing. I wasn't really on stream. That's a whole other discussion in itself, but we did play a bunch of other tournaments that I do want to talk about. So I also not only want to talk about the matches, but also just through all of these videos, because I have a few sets like this that I all want to share with y'all. Just how I've been feeling playing Strive out here, because we did go to Korea in November to play Strive for Fighter Spirit, where there were some Japanese players who went there too, and NA players went out there as well. But Evo Japan was definitely truly an international tournament. So, and we also had the 3v3 that Mochi hosted as well. That was also truly an international tournament. So just a lot has been going on, and I've been grinding a lot while I'm here. So my main mission here has been to play against Mei, Giovanna, Soul, Chip, and if at the chance I could find them, Kai players. That's been my main goal, as well as like see aspects of my game that I honestly could just improve on. Mei is a character. Let's talk about Mei now. So Mei is a character that I feel like I perform overall pretty well in tournaments. There's a thing that people say when they're coming up in fighting games pretty commonly, where they're like, oh, well, I feel like I do really well against top players, but I don't do well against like average players or like online randoms or something like that. This is usually a tell of just how you deal with random situations. Like, it is a skill to be able to know how to play against somebody that you've never played against before, but I was having this feeling against Mei, and what was personally happening with me was I was performing really well against top Meis. Like, I've beaten like players like Corey in tournament. At this point, so this would be Tatakai Tuesday that just happened. Like, I beat Ketiko, who's a longtime Mei player, really good Mei player. I did pretty well against you here. Like, I played Slash before, done very well against him. But my performance against like just, I don't want to say unknown Meis, but like let's say like a standard tournament Mei has been pretty mixed. And after playing here, I feel like and just like grinding the match a lot more, I feel like I have a more clear reason why. So Yu was a great test of my, not only what I do against a strong player, but a strong player that plays Mei. That's a playstyle that I'm not really familiar with. And he uses the buffs that Mei uses very, very well here. So I mean, at this point, I'm kind of just doing like the Baiken thing, you know. It's also very early in my trip, so I feel like one big thing about here is my weaknesses are very exposed here, but also my strengths are very exposed. So a lot of my offensive structures, especially when it comes to high-low mix-ups or like knockdown mix-ups, are exceptionally good. At this point, I thought they were good already, but being here, I'm like, oh, like it's really good. Like, everyone is really surprised at the stuff I'm doing here. Baiken is also not that common here as well. So they were pretty surprised at what I was doing. But as far as weaknesses, for example, like I always like my strike throw was not so good in this game. I also thought in Dragon Ball I kind of had a problem with it, and that's why I started playing characters like Gotenks and Broly, characters that would help me out with stuff like that. And I really felt it exposed here because a lot of the best players, they do play mid dispensers like Mei. Mei is like a wink wink nudge nudge, but like Geo, Soul are like really popular here. And when I play them, I'm like, man, they're so good at it. Like, they're so good at it. Where, like, in NA, we play, like, Leo. So, Leo, of course, Leo is good at throwing you because you're scared of him running through you. You're scared of back turn overhead. Or, yeah, of course, Nago is good at throwing you because you're scared of all this stuff where, like, they're able to... I mean, you could say the same for Soul. Like, well, sure, it's easy to be good at strike throw when you have a +3 close slash and a +2 far slash and stuff like that. But I especially felt that my strike throw was extra weak here, but I thought that like the things I'm good at in neutral, I'm really good at, and like my knockdown stuff was really good. You specifically, when I played him in these matches, you're gonna see a kind of mix between I kind of feel like I can't catch him, but at the same time I'm cool because I am biking, so in the middle I'm kind of like, well, you know, it's okay if I can't straight up catch them. They also use some pretty unusual pressure structures, I think, with Mei. As far as combos like this, we've seen this a million times, right? Is what I would say, but Mei is not that common in NA. So if you don't have a Mei to play against, or like if you're not watching like some of the super majors, so you see like Slash play and stuff, you probably wouldn't see conversions like that much. And I'm biking. It's not like she doesn't have a lot of life. So my goal here is really to just kind of hold this mid-range type of thing. Right now, there are a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there are a few top players in the US that say Mei is top tier. I'm kind of one of them. I'm basically there. And one of her like main strengths is like, you know, she's hard to anti-air, she does a lot of damage, good pressure, she could beat you off throw. Her strike throw is pretty good. But another good thing is that she's really hard to approach. Like she's a very, very good counter poker. So it's pretty easy to stick buttons out that like beat stuff and get pretty good reward off them. So most people think about her rush down and her damage, but that's a pretty valuable thing in Strive. And it's also why I feel like it's one of the reasons why people thought Baiken was so strong originally, is that she is just good at throwing out moves that are hard to deal with. Now the nice thing for me is that Baiken is good against Mei, which is super, super valuable. Like having to approach Mei is pretty hard, but as you see, my neutral strategy is a lot of just like kind of playing Baiken's standard neutral game and holding that line. Also, Mei's kind of light, so I could do confirms like that, like, oh, I hit an air kabaddi or air kabaddi counter hit into like looping it like 3 times. You get a lot of stuff like that. Okay, using the delay piercing, it's kind of common trick a lot of people are using right now. Just trying to find ways to be threatening with meter in different positions. Switching sides. So here I'm just holding this. That's a defensive technique we've talked about a lot. The H dolphin being really slow, so you don't have to respect it like that. So coming here is like, I'm pretty much, you're going to see me use a lot of different anti-air options. It's actually pretty common. A hearsay about Baiken is like she's not good at anti-airing. But in my opinion, she's kind of like Milia in that you have to use a lot of different anti-air options. Maybe in Strive, you know, Milia's 6P is actually really good in Strive compared to different versions of Exert that I've played. The current version of Exert, her 6P is really good, but she had a version where her 6P was not so great. But Baiken, it's like you have to use JK, JD, Yozan-sen, parry, 6P. So this is a match where you have to use a lot of JD and parry to kind of discourage them. And use movement was, honestly, I found it really good. It was pretty hard. Like, you're not going to see a lot of parry anti-air from me, even though like I'm kind of scoping Mei out with it. It's really nice to use parry anti-air because you can be late, where 6P you can't be late. Like, you have to be fast. It might seem easy to anti-air when you start this game, but some characters' jump arcs and how they can move actually makes it kind of difficult if they don't commit to things like IADing at you right away. A little air on the mix up though, so it's fine. Keep in mind pressure. No mix, bros. The jump in. Recovering the little error there into overhead. I was trying to use 6P instead of parry. I think parry would have actually hit, is what I want to say. There I wasn't like actually sure what the advantage was. Mei, one nice thing about Mei versus Baiken is that Mei often is the one attacking you. She doesn't really have like a projectile. She could use beach ball, but it doesn't come up that often. So you can choose to pick like a lot of stuff on defense when she knocks you down. Like, characters are hard sometimes to confirm off that. And there's the parry we were talking about. So as I mentioned, parry anti-air is pretty valuable against Mei because she's hard to anti-air at a higher level because they're using like JS, JH at these weird angles where your 6P might not reach. And Baiken, while she has a very fast activating 6P, it's kind of small, so it could be hard to use in some spots. My man is mauling. Okay, what do we pick for Oki here? Goes for the whiff into empty low. That's something I saw Japanese players do quite a bit as Baiken counterplay. They would like do something like, let's say they would go over me on purpose. So I would do like OS parry on the other side, but they would land delay normal on the other side. They would do that quite a bit to me to just try to get the parry to whiff. To double jump into punish, just a beach ball. You should try to challenge beach ball if you can, by the way, because it's not like fast. So your character might be able to sneak a hit in. Another thing that comes up a lot and that just happened is some people use dash cancels here, which is basically, we use a lot of like Kara dash cancel, like dash cancel into special move, but sometimes they just do the dash cancel, and in some cases, like you'll see if you've been watching, so the player who got second at Evo Japan, Lux, shout out to second place bros at Evo, welcome. He uses a lot of close slash dash cancel with Geo, and since it's +3, it's like a 6-frame gap. So that math, of course, comes from Geo's close slash is attack level 4, plus her dash cancel like 22 frames, so that's how you get that number, which basically auto times like that frame trap there for you. So it's kind of interesting. A bunch of them use it. May, I believe, off the top of my head, is a attack level 3 close slash with less recovery, so it might work similarly. It didn't come up that much though. Oh, there I messed up. That's kind of a mix up I'm not trying to use anymore. I think like I was trying it out in the US and I thought it was okay, but I was using it here and I was like, I don't think it's worth the resource. I'm really valuing resource right now for defense even more. So he's gonna go for mix, and this is exactly the type of thing I was talking about. So he went over, landed, and hit my parry recovery. Into super is gonna connect, but I live, no problem. Playing up. Oh, yeah. I actually forgot if the dolphin is overhead, but I did get correct. Okay, round number 2. Trying to 6K. With Mei, an important thing to think about too is that you don't want to get hit by big hits, which sounds really obvious, but a lot of her hits are standing hits. It is scarier now because it's even, and like she has all these weird hitbox things with like 5K and 5P. It's kind of similar to Baiken. But at the very least, it's like you should try to do like some type of defensive movement or like have something prepared like a 6P or low or something to deal with her. Okay, the air nash. Kind of trying to slide out there. Double overhead blocked. I buff for IBFD. He tried to meme me with the beach ball. Trying to win. That was a heroic hero burst. Hero burst. I'm chilling. There's some characters, you know, when you play like Leo or Baiken or something and someone does a burst like that, I'm like, bro, I'm going to throw you and I'm going to win the whole game. There I saw a pretty valuable lesson against Beach Ball too. So Beach Ball got the buff with the explosion, and I have been thinking like one thing I need to do against Mei is to make sure I don't get hit by that while I'm retreating. They're actually pretty good at using it as like a kind of preemptive anti-zoning thing. Oh, he tried to do it, but I slipped out. Okay, just try and find my way out this corner. His burst is still not coming back though. Come to company. Oh, but messed up the loop. What an air throw. That's like running kind of deep. There I folded 100%. So the air throw there, running deep, waiting to see someone above you and do a rising air throw. Pretty classic Guilty Gear tactic. So going into the next game here. Sometimes I whip buttons into parry just because maybe somebody might be a little late on the whip punish. You never know. It's especially effective against like fast characters. There we go. Clash the beach ball. Whoopsie. Chasing my backdash. Throw. Dolphin looks like all the time. Pretty sure that's plus. Walking out the corner. We did play Dragon Ball. Okay. Blocking the overhead. Controlling the corner. And he got punished on landing recovery. Mix. Blocks the same side. So at this point, you know, Baiken's more popular in the US, right? There's like three like main tournament Baikens you probably know of. So people are used to the setups, but people here aren't that used to those style of setups. So I've been clapping people a lot. And you don't want to get hit by Baiken's throw. That's like game ending. Yo's on stand, air versus air. This is money. And I go for the money. I always go for the money. But I dropped that a lot. I actually want to clean that up because I made that mistake a lot. I'm not really sure how to fix it. Besides just delaying more. If there's an auto-time way, that'd be really nice. Mei is about to do what Mei likes to do. Decides to break the wall here. So now it's Mei with 50 meters, so she has traveling instant stuff, you know. But thankfully, I have meter close around. Another thing that I've been thinking about a lot is what do most people who don't, I mean, maybe some people who do play Baiken, but what people who don't play Baiken value about Baiken and what I value about Baiken, right? So for example, a lot of people, their matches like Soul and Geo, so, you know, like Soul and Geo players tend to say, especially Geo players, tend to say that like, oh, Baiken beats them, right? And one, why? Because, oh, I can't beat Far Slash. Okay, so that Far Slash is really good, but you only get combos on counter hit or crouching, and neither Geo nor Soul are going to use crouching buttons, and you can counter hit them. It can happen, but it's not like reliable. It's not gonna happen as much as like versus Zato or versus Mei or something, right? But like one thing I really value about Baiken is how much better she gets in the middle and the end of the game, like how good she is with meter and how consistently she can get it. So a lot of these games sometimes like, oh, Mei is really scary with resource, but oh, I have 50 also, so I have all these ways of protecting myself and running away or confirming a situation into like big damage or something like that, which I think is not discussed too much. Like sometimes so it doesn't happen in like a set like versus Mei, because Mei, you'll notice that a lot of my hits lead into stuff, which sounds silly, but there's some matchups where it's like, oh, just because of the nature of the character, how they move, what buttons they press, you just might not get anything for like using a tool that you need to use. It happens in like Exert as well. It comes up a bunch. The nice thing about Mei is a lot of the tools I'm using, JD, JS, H Kabaddi, and the way I use Far Slash and what Mei likes to do, I get big returns, so that helps me out like quite a bit. And her walk speed is not that fast, which is pretty nice. So in the case where she does sit around, that I can sniper of 2H like I did before. Well, clutch. I was trying to do a big run back there, right? Going into the next game, I'm trying to basically just do my best. At this point, I'm learning, because the way that they move is actually different than some of the North America mains I played. I mean, I just feel like they're a bit more conscious of the dash jump, like the forward jump momentum buff. So I'm just remembering like, oh, just hold that line, like you already know how to play this match and control space against her. And just because she got that change doesn't mean you need to change what you're doing, if that makes sense. You have have so much resource to stack up. Crazy air throw. But I was like, no, brother. Again, that's the difficulty of Mei attacking Baiken on knockdown, right? It's like, oh, you have to attack her. Like, you have to throw me. You have to delay your normal. So I'm willing to gamble stuff. Okay, trying to get away with tether. The JD air burst here again. JD is Baiken. A lot of people complain about Baiken's JS. I think it's a really good move. But JD is her only disjoint normal. Most characters have like at least one disjoint or air normal. So JD is really valuable against characters like Mei who jump really high or like are trying to just like snipe you with an air normal from far away. It's not that useful against characters like say Bridget or Ino who are airborne a lot but like lower than IAD, if that makes sense. Mei has a very high jump. Characters like Mei and Milia have a very high jump. And Mei's not that fast on the ground. She has a fast backdash, but she's not like a super fast run. So JD actually does a lot of work against her. The IBs though, but thankfully he's IBing Kabaddi, so nothing's really happening. Kabaddi knockdown, see? So I get my knockdown off this. Meter, delay overhead. Okay, going for the safe here. Waiting. So I got the S Kabaddi. Back to Spear, see? Keep my plus frames, but don't really do anything with it. I think I could probably messed up doing a second Kabaddi, Yozansen there. The overhead. F-ding to make sure I could push her out of JPP. He's controlling space. I'm dash blocking after. I'm not going to respect you. The overhead. It can happen to me, though. It is Mei. Let's jump out. Woos. Alright, so it should just be a couple more games. So I'm going to be alternating between posting event stuff and posting, like, set stuff. So this one was actually pretty good. Like, I'm pretty confident against Mei and my main matchup strategy, but the next one I'll be posting, and if you're on Patreon, I should be posting it there first, is me versus TY. So on Patreon, I already posted me versus Lox, which I'll also post here as well. But me versus TY, if you're on the stream, you probably watched it too, was my first versus top Japanese Geo, and I got sunned. There's nothing else I can say. And while I was playing, I was like, no. Do I know this matchup as well as I could? No. And I'll be very honest. But is this shit Baiken winning? Come on, bro. Geo players trolling me. I got sunned. It's with Shaky Cam, so shout out to old school FGC. Hopefully y'all enjoy that, and that'll be pretty soon. But I'm gonna be alternating between posting tournament stuff. So like I said, there's not really Evo Japan stuff, but The main 2 events that were recorded that I would play it in were Mochi's 3v3, which is also on YouTube on his YouTube channel, and the Tatakai Tuesday number, I want to say 20, where Jonathan and I both went to. So I'm going to be alternating between posting sets and posting the tournament footage. Basically, my Japan tournament vlog, match vlog, grind vlog. Hopefully y'all enjoy that. As usual too, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave in the comment section below. Like I said, I've been posting stuff on Patreon, so go check that out if you want. Follow the Twitter, Insta, all that stuff. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Also, side note, but I'll have the actual set with no analysis as a separate thing if you guys want to watch that. Peace out.